Morning you lovely tubers. My first day riding to work on the slug, and you know something, she feels absolutely beautiful. But fabulous. So we're going to do the usual run that we do. There we go, from 30 in third gear. Still third gear. 50, fourth gear. 60 in fifth. She's still pulling. We'll leave her at that because she's 4,500 revs. She's not hit her first service yet. And it feels so light. Now it does actually feel lighter than the NC, and it is lighter than the NC, but we just feel it riding because it's a lot narrower bike. There's a lot more wind turbulence around you than there is on the NC. The NC takes a lot off you, but as in riding, corners, bends, absolutely wonderful. She's just an absolute beautiful bike. And she rides, she absolutely takes the corners wonderfully. And this is the thing about it, you just 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. And you feel like you're going faster. It's absolutely fantastic. Now I went to the NEC show on Monday, and I come down with food poisoning on Tuesday. And yesterday as well, I was in bed all day. It's now Thursday. And I'll be dead honest with you, I've been going to the NEC for a long time, and I've always enjoyed it, but I just didn't enjoy it this year. I didn't think there was any sort of feeling to it. I know there was a couple of new bikes there. There was the Himalayan, which, to be quite honest, in the flesh I weren't impressed with. I think it's absolutely, it's ugly at the front. On the dash side, there's a big round dash on it with loads of space around it that just looks, it just, for me, doesn't do it for me. And undoubtedly, like anything, it's going to be quicker than this, it's going to be lighter than this. Well, it's not, well, it is about 2 kilograms. I was talking to a guy there, an older guy who's obviously well into it, and I'd read on the new Himalayan, the engine's 10 kilograms lighter. And I'd got it in my head, the old bike was 10 kilograms lighter, but it was, the engine is 10 kilograms lighter, but the bike, there was only about 2 kilograms difference between them. And that's because the new one's got better suspension, more upgraded suspension on it. It's got better wheels. There's more quality stuff built for more off-road, but I still don't believe. I think the way it's been built to compete with Jack range, and I don't think it'll. I think it'll have a following, but I don't think it'll have as big a following as this. I mean, like, it's, for me, I never thought I'd buy one of these. I actually never thought I'd buy one because I've watched them for a few years, and I've just thought, you know, heard people going, oh, underpowered to this, to that, and they are underpowered, but it's just, until you ride it, you realise you're not even bothered about the lack of power. It's got enough. It's really just got enough to do what you want to do. It's not a super fast bike. We're going to go on the motorway now, which I said I'd never do. The brakes are all right, the new on it, so the bedding in, but I will upgrade them. But it's weird, it's like in every gear, it's got the same power in every gear. It's a sewing machine. It's brilliant. And it's like, it's so balanced in corners like this. It's a pleasure to ride. It's got a bit of vibration in it. It's got a bit of bumpiness on it, but that's the character of a bike. Now, I never measured whether the handlebars are narrower than the NC or wider. They look, to be honest, a little bit wider, to be honest with you. And like he had on the way down to the NEC, undoubtedly I'll put handguards on it, but I don't know. I'd be happy just to put the Barkbuster metal frames round and keep the handguards off. Now this is where it's not got loads of grunt there, you know, to pull out there. It's just, you have to really give yourself plenty of space on it. As I say, it's windy over here today as well. Lovely and fresh though. It's a lovely morning. It's certainly a morning for riding bikes. Where I work in the school, all the kids will be around it, probably climbing all over it through the day. And like the encouragement to them is, if you work hard at school and you do well, then you can buy one when you leave. It's amazing, a little bit of encouragement to someone when they think about it. You know, it gets through to a lot of them, not all of them, but we are human beings, we're individual. So we're in third gear and we're doing 25 mile an hour. So what's she going to be like at filtering? And it's one of them. It's like I say, second or third. It just the torque on it's the same. It's just, you got a little bit more. You got a little bit more. Not much. You just revs higher. I love it. Absolutely love it. But this is what I mean. So we're on a motorway now, and we're doing 30 mile an hour. You might as well have a 125, mightn't you? You might as well have a bike that's doing 200 miles to the gallon, because you can't go any faster anyway. It's like I say, when I went in my car, my average speed on my car going to Manchester and back was 35 miles an hour. So the only difference with a really light 125 is the lightness of it and passing heavy vehicles in the wind. But I've done it before. Done it many years ago before. I loved it. I think, like many of us when we were young, we rode 125s on the motorway. We took our L plate, well, say 9 L plates on mine. I passed my motorcycle licence. I was talking to one of the people in the chat, and he's 70 and he's taking his test. 70 years old and he's taking his test. Good on you, mate. And he was saying, oh, well, I'm passing the test. And my test, which I took in Old Trafford in Manchester, was went to the end of the road, turned left at the next road, turned left at the next road. The examiner stood out and put his hand up and done an emergency stop, asked me a few questions, and that was my test. And that was in 1982, people. And then you learn to ride, because what I've been watching a few YouTubes on what it's a load of rubbish. It's just a money spinning scheme to get money out of more people for licenses. 2 sets of licenses, so you can do your license up to 18 on an A2, and then if you want to get a full license above a certain brake horsepower, then you have to do another license. You have to do the same test again, but it's a different one. Well, what a scam, and we've allowed it to happen. And it's like the HGV. I passed my HGV1 when I was 21. I got straight to HGV1, and that was my test. It was a 2-hour test, 2-hour drive, with questions, reversing, and then off you go. You could go and drive. And unfortunately, that was the only HGV, I can't get the words out, I ever drove. I ended up the bus driver and coach driver for a number of years, which I really enjoyed. You know, people, they're being drivers as bus drivers, and you just think how much they put into society. Can't get the words out today. Into society, moving people around. Same with goods vehicles, and I loved it. You know, a lot of people, the pay is horrible for the work they do. You know, it's worth a lot more than any footballer. Now, back to the bike. I'm at 4,500 revs. I'm at 65 miles an hour on the odometer, and it's absolutely all me going on about this bike on the motorway. I'd be quite happy going on the motorway like this. There is vibration coming through the foot pegs. There's a little bit through the bars. But like I say, there's ways that you can resolve that. Put better foot pegs on with better rubbers on them. There's a number of ways you can do it, but it won't bother me. It's a lovely balanced bike. Properly enjoying riding it. And she's done 89 miles. So she's done 83 miles, and she's just going off 3/4 of the tank now. So she looks as though it's quite decent on fuel as well. And you know something, this is just a lovely speed to ride at. I like now. Brakes are not as good as the NC, they're not as good as a lot of big bikes. Just give yourself distance in space, that's all you need to do. Keep an eye on what's on the side here. You know, like there, watching that BMW, what's he going to do? Is he getting too close and he's going to cut in on me? You never know. So just give yourself space. But people, I love it. It's becoming my second favourite bike, I'll be quite honest with you. No one before would say Him is the one thing and the NC is another. And the NC at this moment in time is still the first love. So all of you that watch the channel for the NC, that's not going anywhere. I'm not like NC stuff. Who bought an Africa Twin and got rid of his NC? What a letdown, mate. What a letdown. But yeah, they actually feel different on the road as well that's in the NC. This one actually, seats, I'd say, more plush. Whether it's more comfortable over a long term, I'd like to say. It seems to stick to you. But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely bike. For 24 brake horsepower, 25 brake horsepower, just even as a commuter, just as this, you've got a 20-mile round trip to do, like I have, get on one of these. You've got to save yourselves absolute fortunes. And I think really the vibration, thinking about it, I think it's good for your tyres on this. I think if you wanted to use this permanently on the road, you know, or more road based than green lanes, I think you'd better put a set of road tyres on. Here we go. Now this is where it's just about pulling me out of that. Yeah, it hasn't got that grip, so you need to really give yourself, you know, Mossy, get on this, then you'll understand. I'll agree with you. This bike needs space to overtake. This is a bike that needs space to overtake, without doubt. The NC doesn't. NC will overtake anything. Love it, people. My first ride into work on it, and here we go. We're going to change the gauntlet now all the way down here. What's she like? As I say, she actually feels higher. Brakes are nowhere near as good as the NC. They're a bit, like I say, it's weird. They're spongy, the brakes, but the actual lever is quite hard. But as I say, I think that's just time to bed in, really. And I'll certainly make the changes. I'll look for braided hoses for this. I'll look like for Sonata pads on it. I'll increase them. But I've joined the TRF. I need to start looking on where I can do a few light green lanes and get used to it. Undoubtedly, I can look and I can find some myself. Yeah, she's wonderful. It's a wonderful little thing. My little slug is fabulous. And I was, to be honest, if you see me first day out on it, if you watch my video, I'll put a link to it. On my first day out, from the showroom to the mud. And you'll actually see how well she done. And I did think on that day when I actually got stuck in that mud, because you've seen I was stuck in that mud a good 40 minutes. I was stuck in there a long time. Hard work to get it out, because the bike's heavy. This bike is actually heavy. Don't think for 1 minute it's not, because it is. It's near enough the same weight as the NC, to be quite honest with you. The only difference is it's got better suspension for off-road. It's got that big front wheel on it. It lays down power better because it's less powered in the mud. But I really did think, when I was sat there looking at it, thinking, why did they go in that mud? Why did they end up there? Why didn't I buy the rally? I really did think it, honestly. And do you know something? If I had the money, I'd buy the rally as well. And I probably have when me, to be honest, when my Phaser goes, and my Bergman goes, and my KLE goes, there's no saying I won't get a rally, to be quite honest with you. Because I think that bike, for really deep mud, and for proper off-roading, would be a better bike. This one will do it, but you'll have to be, I am now on a diet, without doubt. I looked at that video and I thought, oh my god. One, I know I've never been photogenic. I'm not voiceogenic. And I'm not bothered, I am what I am. my view is life is you treat people for what they are, not what they look like. Oh, first, do you know it's like anything now? Yeah, the brakes are horrible. They're horrible. Cheers, mate. Now, the NC feels a lot lower. The front end is definitely lower than this. So filtering in between, it's like my first time filtering like this. And I'm quite decent at filtering on bikes, but it's like I'm going to be a bit gingerly with this at the moment because I'll have to get used to them brakes. I wouldn't want to do an emergency stop very quickly on it. I don't think the ABS would work that well. But like I say, it's it's only got 90 miles on it, people. So sometimes don't take everything as fact. You may get on it and find it lovely. And these mirrors are dreadful. They're absolutely bloody dreadful, to say the least. Especially this one, the near side one is, yeah. It's a weird looking one, isn't it? Not seen one of them before. Been trying to snide off Porsche by the looks of that, a high on there. Well, I've got to be honest, I'm loving it. Like I say, not as smooth as the NC, not a patch on the NC for motorways, but that could just be these tyres. If you've got a Hemi and you do more road on it and you've changed the tyres for more road, let me know, put in the comments. Tell me if you find off the stock tyres or changing the stock tyres make a difference. But it's an absolute lovely morning, and I'll tell you what, the other thing you've got on this, I haven't got the NC, it's 18C out here now. So how good is it? You've got an outside temperature. How accurate it is, I don't know. I quite like the dash. I mean, that's part of the part of why I bought this bike as well. I just think it's grunty. It's like I say, it's like an old Alfa Romeo. And it's like that situation when that Range Rover was coming out. This bike won't break that quick. So just move out and let it go past. Like I say, don't forget, I'm saying that because the bike isn't bedded in yet. So we'll see what it's like. And as we go along, as we change the brakes, and I can tell you what my personal view is. When I put better brake pads in this, I'll tell you whether it's any better, in my opinion. Because there's lots of people, they change things and they think it's better, and then they go, I can't see any difference. And sometimes you can't, because, do you know, I see loads of comments by, getting rid of that Indian crap off it. That Indian stuff is no good, and put Chinese on it. Well, it's not always the case. These are, the proven bullets. They just go everywhere. They're not really, they're designed just to probably sit at 40 or 50 mile an hour up a dirt path, and they'll go there. Yeah, it's a bit now it's like there when you change gears, it just it surges. So second gear, sounds daft. The front is a little bit heavier on it in a straight line. Now it's weird this, but the other thing I've got is I'm sat more forward because there's bar risers on it. Even though it's comfortable, and I do find it very comfortable, you still are leaning a tiny bit forward, which I could resolve by putting bar risers that bring it back an inch, which I'll probably do, to be honest. But the other side, like I say, this is the first time I've commuted on it and I've filtered, and it's actually feels a very light bike. So it's the other side. I'm getting used to it. You know, in a week's time, I'll probably go through these and I won't even think about it. This won't even come into my mind. My NC, that first week I rode that, the new NC, because I had two of the old ones, I was exactly the same on that. I was proper ginger on that, to be honest, because the handlebars were definitely, they seemed wider. And if you watched my last video going to the NEC, you realise this is nothing in terms of traffic jams. Yeah, and I think the other thing I would do on this, I would definitely I'm going to definitely change the levers on it. They're too far away from me. I mean, when you get your levers, you want your levers going onto the knuckle, into the bends of your hands. These are right at your fingertips. Actually, it does feel quite good, to be honest. It feels, it definitely feels different than the NC for riding on the road, without doubt. They are different bikes. Fabulous, so absolutely fabulous. And again, the time this bike saves me to get to work is untrue. You know, when you come to work in car, it's just horrendous. You just, realistically, all these people are adding an hour to the journey. Now, this is what I say, when she gets low, she judders. She juk, 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 juk. It's like that. Juk, 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 to get through. It's wonderful. It's not a bad thing. It's what it is. Love it. Absolutely love it. You feel, you know, you feel quite high up on it, to be honest. Yeah, you feel quite high up on it. It's definitely not got that that boom like that you've got on the. Was that me light that when you rev went brighter? The old bikes, they're like dynamos, so when you put more revs through your bike, your front light would get brighter and brighter. That's where the old electrics used to work. Become fantastic. That's the other thing I probably will do on this. I've been looking on a few YouTubers again. I do spend my life on YouTube, to be honest. And I may put an LED front light on it. And there's some half decent ones that you can see out there, and they're not dear, they're 50 quid. And they swap out basically. What's it like over these? Oh, gold. Well, it feels the bumps, doesn't it? Well, now that's what I say. When you go over on them NC on these, the NC just swallowed these up. You can see how much that dives down when it goes over them. I always do feel bad when that happens. You're going through and someone else is trying to get out. I do try to give cars, it's like if a car's in front and it wants to come into the left lane or come into the right lane, I always do try and give them space to get in. I'm not bothered about it because I'm going to get past them anyway. You know, I'm not a selfish rider. It's like car drivers that you see them that just, you know, from front bumper to rear tail bumper, they just don't want anything in front of them. I just don't see the sense in it, because if you was a decent rider, decent driver or rider, you just let them move in, and the road it would just keep moving. I've done it many times on the motorway when I'm on the motorway, sit in the inside lane and just let them in, and I'm still rolling. There we go. The car's beat there. Oh my god. A Yaris has beat me off the mark. Come on, people. I love it. I need to put a turbo on it. Right. Thanks for coming with me on my first ride to work on the Slug. The Himalayan 411, the new old one, the E5 or the Euro 5. Thanks for riding with me. Ride safe, be kind to others, and with luck they'll be kind to you. See you in the next one, Virtual Biker.